We talk a lot at Nomad Capitalist about getting your second passport. And so I was talking to someone the other day from Australia. He came to us for some help with his global strategy. And he said, Andrew, I've got a pretty good travel document. I can visit any country I want with my Australian passport. And unlike a US citizen, I don't have to pay tax once I leave. Why do I need a second passport? In this video, I'm going to tell you what I told him. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and it's true. Historically, there have been two types of people who are seeking out second passports with great activity. The first type in the FATCA era, since the Obama era, have been U.S. citizens who don't want to be reporting and filing and participating in all of the U.S. tax and reporting obligations that come, even if they live overseas. They just want to get a second passport as quickly as possible, expatriate, and be out of that system. The much bigger group that you may be aware of is people from China, from the Middle East, from Russia, people from countries that have poor visa-free travel, that are doing business globally, and that want to be able to go where they need to go to make money. Having a second passport gives them mobility not only for leisure, but to grow their business. And so the in-between there are all of the Western citizens outside of US citizens that we work with here. So the Canadians, the Brits, the Australians, New Zealanders, etc. Why do they need a second passport? This is one of those situations that I call citizenship insurance. Right? There is a premium that someone can pay to be able to protect themselves. If something happens, they will be covered. When you buy car insurance, you don't hope that your car drives off a ditch or into a ditch because you want to get your premiums back and then some. It's there to protect you. And so I'm not a doom and gloom guy who says that Australia is going to break out into riots tomorrow or a new black plague is going to take over Portugal. But I do think that if you're a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur or investor, having some kind of backup plan is not only fun, but it's a good thing to do. And so the first thing that I told this gentleman was, here's the possibilities the world goes forward. More and more people live a nomadic lifestyle. More and more people are expats, traveling around, moving to low-tax countries, the kind of stuff we talk about here. There's a possibility, who knows what that possibility is, perhaps low, that at some point, some of these countries say, you know what, we're going to kind of do what the US is doing. Even if not with as much strictness, we're going to have some kind of de facto policy where, you know, if you're not paying at least 10%, let's say, then you can pay us, right? And that's going to cut out people becoming tax non-resident in their countries and moving to Monaco, moving to Vanuatu, moving to Dubai, moving to territorial tax countries so that they can run their businesses and pay nominal tax. I think there's a possibility that some country or perhaps a block of countries will come and say, you can't escape. Kind of like a personal version of what the United States did with their new GILTI provision. Oh, you're not paying in the teens? Not good enough. So having an escape hatch for if that happens, that you at least have the option, to me is not a bad idea. You may also want a second passport just to secure your rights to live or work or get health care or send your kids to university in another country. A lot of people look to Europe for this reason. I happen to think that the European countries will be at the forefront, among a few others, of some kind of tax provisions. They're already putting in place exit taxes. They're already beefing up their tax rules for their citizens and their residents. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily the answer, but giving yourself a place to live. I think that some of these developing countries in Eastern Europe are interesting because you have resources, you have cheap cost of living, you have a lot of good things happening where it's a nice place to go. It's a nice plan B place to live. You always know you have a place to live, not residence permits, not something that could be canceled, but real citizenship. The other benefit that a passport has is if you do it correctly, if you're building a portfolio, you can get access to other places you may have difficulty traveling to. An Australian can't go to Russia, they can't go to China, they can't go to Iran or a number of other countries. And if you're doing business in some of those places, or if you just want to visit Iran, for example, then having another passport, let's say like Armenia, that goes to Russia, for example, can help you. Had a guy who was doing cryptocurrency investing, and he had a lot of Eastern Europeans he worked with. He really needed to go to Russia, but the process of constantly getting visas was laborious for him. Oh, I can go over here and get a second passport. That helps me with this, this, and this, and it also gets me into Russia. Great. Now, I'm not a doom and gloom person. Again, There are people in the billionaire circles who talk about getting New Zealand citizenship. Peter Thiel did that, and the idea was that that's a place that's isolated, it's on its own, it's free from whatever chaos happens in the rest of the world. Not a bad idea. I'm not saying that you should be expecting that to happen, but I think having a plan B, the same way you have insurance on your car, the same way you get a prenup, the same way you do whatever else to protect against the worst, can help you with having citizenship insurance. And so if you're not a US citizen, if you're not from Russia or China or whatever, you're going to play it a little bit differently. You're going to go out and you're going to first check your family tree. Do you have anyone in the family tree? Parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who are Italian, who are Polish, Lithuanian, Canadian, whatever, right? Parents the easiest, grandparents next easiest, great-grandparents gets a little trickier sometimes. Do you have anybody in the family tree where you can just go and pick that low-hanging fruit and say, yeah, my grandfather was Armenian. I'll take that one, please. Thank you very much. If you don't have that, then you go to the next step. You can easily set up residences. We have videos here on our channel. What's an easy residence? What's an affordable residence? Maybe you put some money in the bank account because you are from a good country and plenty of countries want to take you with nominal requirements. Put some money in the bank. Buy a little piece of real estate. Maybe it's an investment. Start a little company. Just leave it sitting there for a while. Maybe you just show that you have an income in some cases. Countries like Mexico, do you have an income? Yes, please come in. Set up some of those. And then do what I would call call options, where in 2, 3, 5, 7 at the most years, you can go back to that country. Maybe you've had to spend a little bit of time there. In some cases, you don't. Maybe you want to live in one of the countries part-time, who knows. But you've met the requirements that a couple years from now, you can go back and collect your passport. Every country has their own procedures. There are plenty of countries that would love to have you. They would love for you to be their resident. They'd love to welcome you. And after a certain number of years, you can become a citizen. Now, countries may change their rules. They may say, hey, now it's 5 years. You know what? We're going to make it 7. Belgium, for example, used to be 3 years. Then they said, let's make it 5, and we'll make it a little bit tougher at 5. Less tough is 7. So they can change that. So there's no guarantee. But you're paying a heck of a lot less than an American who might go and spend $100,000 to become Dominican in 5 months. You can go and spend a far, far, far lesser amount, put your call options in place, go out and live your life knowing that you've got options growing up around you and that you can go and select those options, pick them out of the ground later, and have your citizenship insurance plan. That is how I would play it for a Westerner.
I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you're looking for a way to legally reduce your taxes, build your freedom, and create wealth faster as a global citizen, then you've come to the right place. I want you to do 3 things right now. Number 1, click the button to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to get notifications so you never miss a new video. Number 2, get a copy of our #1 best-selling book, Nomad Capitalist, on Amazon and learn all the dozens of benefits of our lifestyle. And number 3, if you're already a 6 or 7-figure entrepreneur and you want to put these strategies in place, go to nomadcapitalist.com and find out how to get some help.